my gosh.
Wish I could get the nerve.
Doing what?
We are going to start in a seated position today. So if you guys want to turn your bodies and get comfortable.
I slept really well. You know when you sleep too good and it's like, I'm like hungover. That's what I'm doing. I'm having like a hangover of sleeping too well.
Oh, that's me.
Not hard heavy sleep you're not used to.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm struggling.
So I'm going to encourage you all to take your hands and put them open on your knees, and then roll your shoulders first up towards your ears, and then back and down. And then do that again, taking them up towards your ears, back and down. Last time, up towards your ears, and back and down. Like I said, just settling into the moment. Feel free to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Just take some deep breaths. Think about softening that tailbone down. What that does is that engages our abdominal muscles on the front side, kind of like a little belt across our front side of our bodies. And then for today, as you continue to breathe, our meditation actually comes from the 12 steps today. And it says the 12-step program has learned over time that addiction emerges out of a lack of inner experience of intimacy with oneself, with God, with life, and with the moment. So the encouragement for us today is to simply be present in the moment. And that can feel kind of scary when we've learned to distract ourselves or to be entertained a lot of the time. But the encouragement today is to simply be, to notice your 5 sensations, and to be present with yourself. When you're ready, we're going to go ahead and take your right arm down to the side onto the mat. Inhale the left arm up, and then exhale over to the side. Really rooting in through that opposite hip. And then go ahead and come back to center, taking the left hand down. Inhale that right arm up, and then over to the side. And really stretching in through that side body. And then go ahead and come back to center. We're going to go ahead and take our hands in front of us and then walk those hands out away from your body as far as it's comfortable. Give me a nice stretch on the back of your hip there. Again, walking those hands back to center, switching whichever foot is in front here. We're going to start with the left hand down. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale off to the side. Again, really rooting in through that opposite hip. Continuing to breathe. And come back to center. Take that right hand down, inhale the left arm up, and then exhale off to the side. When you're ready, go ahead and come back to center, taking both hands on the mat in front of you, and then walking them forward, hinging at your hips. Thinking about kind of allowing your heart to come through that shoulder space, leading with your chest as you fold forward. Taking another deep breath. And then walking those hands back to center. We're going to extend both legs out to either side. And just as far as feels comfortable to you, We're going to start first here in the center with our palms on the mat. And if this is enough of a stretch, then stay here. If you'd like to take it a little further, you can again try to lead with your heart, coming down, hinging from your hips, keeping your back straight. Maybe thinking about the different sensations that you're feeling in your body right now, how the mat supports you, what points of contact you have with the mat. When you're ready, walk those hands back towards center. We're going to go ahead and place the left hand on the inside of that front knee. We're going to inhale that right arm up. And then go ahead and see if you can bend down toward that left leg a little bit, keeping your chest open toward the center. Kind of like a ballerina pose, I guess. Maybe we need to point our toes for that one, I don't know. Then coming back to center, we're gonna go ahead and take the other side. So taking our right hand kind of to that inside of that left, or to the right knee, inhale the left arm up. And then bending that elbow, go ahead and come down as far as feels comfortable to you on the other side. Taking another nice deep breath.
Should we be leaning to the side or to an angle?
To an angle. Yeah, that's a great question. Then coming back up towards center. I'm going to take that right leg. We're going to fold that leg behind us. So that way our knee is kind of pointed front. In cheerleading, we used to call this the herky position. Herky. We used to do a jump and we would land like this up in the air and then come down. But this was the position of our legs. So this time we're going to face forward toward the long leg that you have, and then start to slowly walk your hands forward, getting a really nice hamstring stretch here. And then you might start to feel that kind of pull on the inside of this right leg as well as the top of that thigh. And then walking those hands back to center, we're going to take that left arm kind of at an angle behind us and start to work ourselves down onto that elbow. And then reach our right hand out towards our right knee. So we're just getting a deeper stretch on this right thigh here. And again, if you want to go further, you're welcome to lay all the way down if that's comfortable to you and you want a deeper stretch. Or if this doesn't feel good to you, you can always come up onto your palm and reach this way as well. So there's always feel free to adjust as you need to for this. So then kind of working yourself back up onto your palm, we're going to straighten that right leg. And we're going to bend the left. Again, having that knee kind of pointing towards the front of the mat there. And we'll turn toward the long leg and then walk our fingers forward as we lean over that front foot. Again, holding the pose, but not holding the breath. And then go ahead and walk those hands back to center. This time we're taking our right hand kind of behind our right hip at an angle, reaching toward that left knee, or you can also come down onto that right elbow and reach that direction. Or you can lay all the way down if you would like. Again, thinking about your breath. That helps us to be present to the moment. Checking in with your thought life. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and start to work yourself back up onto that palm. We're going to go ahead and take the other leg straight out, taking our palms back towards the center. That's okay.
You can't get it up.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
that's all right. At least it's a nice ring.
I can't see. Finally, it starts. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So we're gonna take our hands to the floor in front of us again, kind of using that heart to move forward, coming as far as feels comfortable to me here. Taking some nice deep breaths. And when you're ready, go ahead and walk those hands back towards center. This time we're bending the left leg, but we're taking the left leg in toward our body. And then we're going to turn toward the short edge of our mat, and the top of our back leg is going to rotate down toward the mat. So we're going to turn and come into pigeon pose here. So first sitting tall and then leaning forward over top of that front leg. So again, our thought for today says, the 12-step program has learned over time that addiction emerges out of a lack of inner experience of intimacy with oneself, with God, with life, and with the moment. So as we said, the encouragement today is to be present in the moment. There's another thing that I'd like to read from this, and it says, one helpful clarification is that many addicts tend to confuse intensity with intimacy, just as most young people do with noise, artificial lights, and overstimulation of any sort. Manufactured intensity and true intimacy are complete opposites. Yeah.
Very good to stop somebody that's an addict. Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
honest
yeah.
truth, the honest truth is that we all are. You know, we do it in different ways. Some of us are addicted to work. Some of us are addicted to image. Some of us are addicted to, a certain way of relating to people. Like maybe we feel like we need to have power over people, or maybe we feel like we always need to be subservient to them. But we all have those ways that we cope because we can't, because we either don't know how to be present in the moment with ourselves, with life, with God, or, I think that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. When we're ready, we're gonna move onto our palms. We're gonna sit on that left hip, turn toward the front, opening up those legs once more. Bring our hands back to the center, and then leading again with the heart, opening up that chest as we melt kind of down to the middle here. Taking a nice deep breath. And then when you're ready, you can push the floor away. We're gonna bend that right leg and then take the top of that left leg down toward the mat as we turn toward the short edge of the mat on the other side. Again, sitting nice and tall first, and then coming down over top of that front knee. Grab my notes here for a second. So this, let me read a little bit further for us as we rest here in this pose. It says, in the search for intimacy, the addict takes a false turn, hopefully a detour, and relates to an object, a substance, an event, or a repetitive anything, whether it's shopping, thinking, blaming, abusing, eating, in a way that will not and cannot work for them. Over time, the addict is forced to up the ante when the fix does not work. You need more and more of anything that does not work. If something is really working for you, then less and less will satisfy you. On my good days, even a grasshopper can convert me. So go ahead and take another deep breath here. And then start to work yourself up onto your palms. This time we're going to tuck the back toes. We're going to straighten the back leg, step that right foot back to meet the left foot. And then we're going to start to shift our weight onto our feet, walking our hands back towards our feet for the back of the mat. Folding forward here, allowing the crown of the head to fall down toward the mat. When you're ready, you can go ahead and bend your knees. And then place your hands on your knees and then slowly round yourself up. Very good. We're going to do a couple of sun salutations here, and but we're going to do them kind of the opposite direction. So instead of stepping backward, we're going to step forward in our sun salutation today. So we're going to inhale, both arms up. And then bring palms together, exhale all the way forward. Inhale, coming into halfway lift. Exhale all the way forward. Inhale and look forward as you walk your hands forward into plank pose. And then go ahead and lower all the way down to the mat. Lifting into cobra. Exhaling all the way down. Inhale and tuck your toes. Exhale and push up into plank. Keep exhaling and shift those hips back into downward facing dog. And then keep walking those hands all the way back to your feet for forward fold. Inhale, both arms out to either side as you come all the way up. And then exhale, both arms down. We're going to go ahead and do another one of those. So inhale, both arms up. Palms together. Exhale, all the way forward. Inhale, come up to your fingertips in a flat back pose. Exhale, all the way forward. Look forward and inhale as you walk your hands into plank. Exhale all the way down. Inhale up into cobra. Exhale all the way down. Inhale and tuck your toes. Exhale and push up into plank. Keep exhaling as you push your hips back into downward facing dog. And then keep walking those hands back toward your feet. Inhaling both arms out to either side. Coming all the way up. And then exhale, arms down. Very good. So we're going to actually start with our balancing postures more toward the beginning of our practice today. So if you want to move toward something to hold on to, feel free to do that. Or if you just want to come to the center of your mat, you're welcome to do that too. And we have a little bit more on the balancing postures today. So if you need to stop or pause or just come back down to your mat at any point, feel free to do that. Just make sure that you're being present with your body and that you're listening to the wisdom that it's telling you. We're going to start with our feet hip width apart, kind of rocking back and forth across those feet. Taking a nice deep breath. And then when you feel a comfortable position, go ahead and allow those feet to settle in, allow those toes to kind of float down onto the mat. Then think about pressing your feet into the mat. That's going to engage all the big muscles in your legs here. And then I'm going to encourage you to think about your pelvic bone and just being in a neutral position. So you're not tipping it anterior or posterior. You are just, it's softened down. It's in a nice neutral position. Then think about elongating your spine. And then think about your arms as just a natural extension from your shoulders. And then now that we're ready and balanced, we can go ahead and start to shift our weight to the left foot. We're going to bring that right foot in like a kickstand, taking our hands to our heart center for tree pose. And if you would like, you can start to bring that foot up a little further, depending on your comfort level and what your body feels like it's ready to do today. Taking a nice deep breath. We're going to go ahead and draw that knee forward. And we're going to release our right arm down so that way we can set the top of this right foot into the palm of that right hand. We're going to extend the left arm in front of us. And either you can stay here or you can start to move into dancer pose by pressing the top of that foot into the palm of your right hand, leaning forward for balance. When you're ready, you can come back down to center here. We're going to bring the knee forward once more. Bring our hands back to heart center. And then if you can, we're going to do an extended leg pose. So drawing that foot straight out in front. Again, holding it just as long as you can, continuing to breathe while you do so. And then drawing that foot back in and then stepping out. Ooh! How does your arch feel on the other foot? Is it burning like mine is? Okay, so now we're going to do the other side. So we're going to start again first by rocking back and forth across those feet. You might feel an imbalance right now, and that's pretty natural because we haven't done the other side yet. And then when we're ready, we're going to allow those feet to settle in, allow the toes to come down, pressing those feet into the mat, engaging all the muscles in the legs. Then allowing our hands to open, spine to elongate, our pelvic bone is in a neutral position. Let's take a nice deep breath here first. And then when you're ready, go ahead and start to shift your weight to that right foot. We're going to draw the left foot in, again, like a little kickstand, taking hands to heart center for tree. Feel free to stay here, or if you would like, you can start to bring that left foot up to a position that feels comfortable to you. And then if you would like, you can go ahead and start to draw that knee forward. And then dropping the left hand down this time, we're going to try to place the top of the left foot into the top of the left hand. Then extending the right arm out in front of us. You can either stay here or you can press the top of the foot into the palm of the hand for dancer pose, leaning forward as you do so for balance. Then bringing that back through, go ahead and draw that knee to the front once more, bringing your hands to heart center. And then if you would like, you can try the extension, taking that leg out in front of you. Holding this, engaging your core, and then drawing that leg back into center, and then stepping out. Bringing those hands down and shaking out that other foot. Let's do a quick little calf stretch because that's a lot on our feet and on our calves. So we're going to do a little lunge here where we first take our foot back, pressing that heel back into the mat. Feeling a nice stretch along your calf. And then we're going to go ahead and switch sides. Stepping forward, we'll take the left foot back. Again, pressing that heel into the mat. Then stepping forward once more, let's go ahead and stretch out the front side of the foot. So we're gonna take the top of the foot to the mat and just gently press down. And then when you're ready, you can switch sides, taking the left foot back. We're gonna press the top of that foot into the mat once more. And we're gonna go ahead and step forward. This time we're gonna take our right foot back just slightly. And we're going to bring our heel to the mat and stretch forward as we bend this back leg. Sorry, my pants are so big today. You can't really see what my legs are doing, but hopefully you can see this. Whoops. And then you're gonna just lean forward, maybe a nice little stretch on the hamstring of the left leg. Also stretching it down a little bit into the top part of that calf. And then stepping forward once more. Go ahead and step back with the left leg, taking the heel of the right foot to the mat, leaving that right leg straight. Go ahead and bend forward as you bend that left knee as well. Taking a deep breath. When you're ready, you can go ahead and come up, shake everything out. We're going to move into our active portion of our day today. So we're going to start at the back of your mat here. We're going to start, of course, with some stillness by taking our mountain pose. Again, pressing our feet into the mat. Thinking about the way that our body works together to keep us in this standing position. And as you take a few deep breaths here, I'm going to remind you of a little story. This story is actually from Little Women. I don't know if you guys have watched that movie or if you remember it, but there is a point where one of the main characters of the movie, her name is Jo, she is talking with a new friend, Mr. Bear. And they're actually talking about this thing called transcendentalism. But she talks about how there was a lot of emphasis in her life on perfecting oneself and how she felt like she was hopelessly flawed, because of that. It was always pointing out to her the ways that she was not perfect. And Mr. Bear very kindly looks at her and says, "Miss March, I think we are all hopelessly flawed." And so it's an encouragement for us today that we can be present to the moment, we can be present in our life with God and with ourselves, even in the imperfection, and maybe especially in the imperfection. When we're ready, we can go ahead and inhale, both arms up. We are going to step forward into a warrior two pose. So we're going to step forward, turn to the side, and then open up our arms, coming into warrior two. Checking in with your arms that they are parallel to the floor. Checking in with your hips and shoulders and ears, that they're all kind of stacked one on top of the other. Checking in with your front knee, that it's directly over top of your ankle, that it's not splayed out to either side here. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and straighten that leg. We're gonna, what is that called? Windmill our arms all the way down over top of that front leg. We're pyramid pose. Taking a nice deep breath or two here. Then bending that front knee, we're going to allow the back heel to come up to come into runner's position. Taking a nice deep breath. See if you can straighten that back leg just a little further. You're going to feel that on the front side of that back leg. And then stepping that back leg in slightly, you're going to keep both sets of toes pointed toward the short edge of the mat as you straighten both legs for triangle pose. If you'd like a little add-on here, you can leave that right palm on the mat and start to reach up with the left palm toward the ceiling for an added twist here. Then sweeping that hand back down. We're going to go ahead and step that right foot back, coming into our lunge once more, and then stepping that right foot all the way forward, coming into forward fold. And then sweeping our arms all the way up. And then exhaling those arms down. And then we're going to start on the other side, so stepping back to the back of the mat again. Starting in our mountain pose where we are fully aligned. And then go ahead and inhale both arms up. This time we're stepping forward with the right foot, and then we're bending that, blading that back foot, allowing both arms to come down into warrior two on the other side. Again, checking in that your ears, shoulders, and hips are all in alignment. And we're going to windmill those arms all the way down to the mat as we straighten that front leg. For pyramid pose. Taking some deep breaths here. When you're ready, you're going to start to bend that front knee. Allow the back heel to come up, coming into our runner's position. And then again here, see if you can straighten that back leg just a little bit further. Again, you're going to feel that engagement on the front side of that back thigh. Then stepping the back leg in slightly, we're going to straighten both legs, coming into triangle pose on this side. So both sets of toes are pointed toward the short edge of your mat. Again, taking some deep breaths. If you would like to take your twist, you can. So planting that left hand on the mat, we're going to reach up with the right hand. Taking a nice deep breath here. And then sweeping that hand back down to the mat. We're going to go ahead and bend that front knee, step the back leg back into our runner's lunge for a moment, and then step that left foot all the way forward, coming into our forward fold. And then sweeping arms out to either side, coming all the way up. And then exhaling both arms down. Very good. We have one more section to add on to that. So we've got 2 more rounds of this, and then we've got our cool down for the day. So again, starting at the back of the mat in our mountain pose, inhale, both arms up. Step forward with the left foot, blade that back foot, and then open up your arms, coming into warrior two. Then straightening that front leg, windmill wiper. How do you say that? Windshield wiper? Windmill? Take your arms down to the floor. Take your arms down to the mat for pyramid pose. This time we're going to bend our knee and start to move our weight, shift our weight to that front foot. We're going to allow the back foot to come up off the mat, kind of using it like a little kickstand behind us while we get positioned on this front leg. We're going to walk our hands to 10 and 2 in front of that front foot, and then lift that back leg parallel to the floor if you can. If you'd like to lift it further, you can. But just come as far as feels comfortable to you. And then go ahead and take that back leg all the way back down. This time we're going to settle back into our runner's lunge. Again, straightening that back leg a little further. This time we're going to go ahead and step that back leg in just slightly, leaving the toes facing the short edge of the mat, straightening that front leg, coming into triangle pose. And leaving our right hand on the mat, reaching up with the left hand for our gentle twist. And take that left hand all the way down to the mat once more. Bend that front knee, step that back leg back into runner's lunge once more, and then step all the way forward, coming into forward fold. And then sweep those arms out to the sides, coming all the way up. And then exhaling, arms down. Very good. We got one more to do, starting once more at the back of the mat. Last one for the day. So softening those shoulders down away from your ears, even as you might be breathing a little bit harder from the exertion of the movement we've been doing. Checking in with your body. A lot of times when we do a lot of exertion, we start to move into those chronic holding patterns. So making sure that your tailbone is still neutral. And then go ahead and inhale both arms up. This time stepping forward with the right foot, moving into warrior two on the other side. Go ahead and bring those arms down. Again, feeling the strength in your legs. Wheel those arms down to the mat. Straighten that front leg, coming into pyramid pose on the other side. Taking a deep breath here. Then start to bend that right knee. Allow the back foot to come up off of the mat as you step it forward again, just using it for balance as you start to move all of your weight onto that right foot. You're going to take your hands at 10 and 2 in front of that foot, and then straighten it, and then bring the back leg up parallel to the floor. Again, you can come further if you feel like it. And if not, then stay in whatever version of this feels comfortable to you. So lots of options here. Go ahead and start to bend that front knee. Allow that back foot to come down so that way we settle into our runner's lunge. Straightening that back leg again. Then go ahead and step the back foot in slightly, straightening both legs, folding forward over top of that front leg. Taking some deep breaths here, planting your left hand on the mat, and then taking that right hand up toward the ceiling for a twist. Then taking that right hand back down, you're going to bend that front knee, kind of extend that back foot back a little further into runner's lunge first, and then use that to push yourself forward, step into forward fold, and then taking arms out to either side, coming all the way up as you inhale, and then exhale down. Woo, we made it.
We've been here all day, it's getting dark.
I know, that's what it feels like, right? The clouds are moving in. If you want to go ahead and come down to the mat, we're going to just kind of finish finish up the similar way that we started earlier today.
Goodness.
So sitting nice and tall, and taking some deep breaths, kind of recovering our breath a little bit.
And June this year has for the last 6 hours.
As you kind of recover that breath, let me read from our meditation for today, where it says, the 12-step program has learned over time that addiction emerges out of a lack of inner experience of intimacy with oneself, with God, with life, and with the moment. He goes on to write, I would drink myself to oblivion too, or look for some way to connect with solid reality if I felt that bereft or that lacking of love, esteem, joy, or communion. One helpful clarification is that many addicts tend to confuse intensity with intimacy, just as most young people do with noise, artificial highs, and overstimulation of any sort. Manufactured intensity and true intimacy are complete opposites. And then he goes on to write, in the search for intimacy, the addict takes a false turn, hopefully a detour, and relates to an object, a substance, an event, or a repetitive anything, whether it's shopping, thinking, blaming, abusing, or eating, in a way that will not and cannot work for them. Over time, the addict is forced to up the ante when the fix does not work. You need more and more of anything that does not work. If something is really working for you, then less and less will satisfy you. On my good days, even a grasshopper can convert me. So when you're ready, we can go ahead and take that right hand down to the mat. We're going to inhale the left arm up and then lean over to that right side. Checking in with your body as you do so. Coming back to center, taking that left hand down to the mat. Inhale the right arm up. And then exhale off to the other side. Coming back to center, go ahead and take both hands to the front and lean forward. This time just kind of melting over top of your low body here. So really allowing that back to curve. And if you need to, you can take your fists one on top of the other and rest your forehead on your fists. And then go ahead and start to work yourself back towards center. We're going to switch whichever leg is in front there. Taking the left hand to the mat, inhaling the right arm up. Exhaling off to the side. Then coming back to the center, taking that right hand down, inhaling the left arm up. Exhaling off to the right hand side. And taking that back to the center, taking both hands in front of you on the mat. And then again, just kind of melting over top of those the legs there. Taking some deep breaths. Taking one more deep breath. And walking those hands back to center and extend both legs out, one to either side. Sitting nice and tall first. Then we're going to place our hands on the mat. And again, round down. Checking in with your toes that they're not rolling forward, but that your toes are still pointed up toward the ceiling. That keeps the hips open. Keeps this stretch on the inner thighs. And then when you're ready, you can walk your hands back to center. We're going to bend that right leg. Facing the long leg and round down. And walking those hands back to center. We're gonna take the left arm at an angle behind us, coming down onto our elbow if you're able to. Reaching that right hand toward the right knee. Feeling a nice stretch along the front thigh of that right leg. Taking some deep breaths. And then coming up onto that palm, extending that right leg out. And switch sides, bending that left leg behind, facing the long leg, and then rounding down. One more deep breath here. And then walking those hands back to center, taking that right hand behind your right hip at an angle, and then coming down onto that right elbow, reaching the left hand down toward the left knee. And taking one more deep breath here. And working yourself up onto that palm. Go ahead and straighten that left leg out. We're going to go ahead and fold the right leg in, turning to face the short edge of the mat. The top of that left leg is going to turn down toward the mat. So we can move into our pigeon pose on the other side. Feel free to bend forward over top of that front knee if you would like. Taking a nice deep breath here. When you're ready, you can start to work yourself up onto those palms, sitting on that right hip. You're going to come back to center, unfold that leg, take your palms to the center, fold forward. And then pushing the floor away from you, bending the left leg in, turning for the short edge of the mat, allowing the top of the right leg to come down to the mat behind you, and then folding forward over top of that front knee. Again, inviting yourself to be present to this moment. And when you're ready, you can start to work yourself back up onto your palms. Sit down on that left hip. This time you're going to face the long edge of your mat, but you're going to bring the soles of your feet together for butterfly pose. And go ahead and lean forward over top of those front feet. And when you're ready, you can kind of round up. We're going to move to our final relaxation pose. So you are welcome to take whichever pose is most comfortable to you, whether that's lying down or a child's pose or some other pose if you want to be on your side. And we'll take just a few moments of silence here, and then I'll go ahead and call us back together. When you're ready, you can go ahead and wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Start to bring your awareness back to this moment. You can roll to one side or rock yourself up into a seated position. And then away. And then let me go ahead and pray for us as we close. God, thank you for this time and space. Thanks that your connection with us is so intimate. God, that you lead us into knowing how to be present in the moment, in our lives, with you and with ourselves. God, would you continue to show us the way? Would you continue to reveal to us the areas where we have maybe slipped into old patterns or old coping mechanisms? Would you reveal those to us? We love you, and it's in your name we pray. Amen. I did forget to mention that the readings that I had today come from Richard Rohr's book called Breathing Underwater. So I wanted to give that little, so you all know where it comes
Is
from.
that the initial quote that you just worked on, is that something that you could send to us?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
would love to.